Hello, everybody. You knew this was coming. If Sanjeev is going to create a video about creativity, we thought we would create a video about his video about creativity. This is,
I'm Leah Stone. I am a PhD candidate at Colorado State University, studying journalism and media communication. I'm especially interested in digital methods research and how to employ actor network theory to look at big data.
and it's good stuff. I know for a fact. I'm Joe Champ. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Journalism and Media Communication at Colorado State University. And well, the first thing we wanted to talk about was, what we thought about Sanjeev's really this idea of forcing people really to think about their creative process and to sort of be confronted with it in a sense. And we're both, I guess you would call us actor network theorists. We're really interested in that set of theories. Uh, when you watch this and when you read the paper, what comes out of your head? What comes out of you as a filtration process?
The thing I think is really fascinating here is one thing I'm always struggling with trying to describe is with actor network theory,
Mm-hmm.
the notion of actor network is you have an actor which can be a node within a network, but
Mm-hmm.
you always have to remember that actor itself is also its own network
Right.
and it has its own nodes.
Right.
So I think when you're talking of having a person as an actor in a creative process, when they're self-reflecting, I think it's a really great way for them to see themselves as a network because
Mm-hmm.
then they're now breaking down how they create
Mm-hmm.
their process.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I've been trying to bring actually pragmatic theory, especially from Charles Sanders Peirce, into actor network theory thinking. And some people I think would find that problematic, and I don't. I really see where what Sanjeev is doing here is trying to open out, like you said, that notion of what Peirce would call the object, and enforcing the so-called object, which can either be that individual that we see interviewed, or it could be um, that individual thinking about what they were doing when they were being creative. That's what I think Peirce really brings to this. And I know we can talk a little bit more about that, but we don't want this to take too long. What we want to get to right at the end here is the question, how do we feel about our own creative process here as we're having to watch and confront ourselves in creating this video? And one thing I can tell you is when we turned the video on, or we turned the system on first, what was the first thing we did?
We had to make sure we look nice.
We fixed
Fix
our
our hair.
hair, and you actually have hair. Mine's just kind of going away real fast. There's not a lot to fix, but I mussed around with it a little bit, which I found that really interesting. So,
Mm-hmm.
we need to be presentable,
Yeah.
even though we're sitting around here somewhere right now.
Yeah.
But one thing I did want to add, I mean, I know that we want some constructive criticism as well, that it would have been neat, and I would like Sanjeev to respond to the question, could you have during the interview, had that interview process where people are reflecting and being aware of themselves by seeing themselves, but maybe to ask them what, how do they feel? How do they feel after they've done this? How do they feel about this process of self-reflection? And so maybe I'll ask you, how do you feel about having to do this?
It's a little weird, but it definitely, makes me think of what is my creative process. When I was watching the video, I identified with a lady about halfway through where she said that she likes to work with what she has, and I really believe in this notion of constrained thinking to
Mhm.
create creativity,
Mhm.
working within limitations. I come from the arts and culture background where they're always saying they have these restrictions on
Mhm.
budget or finance or different things. I think that can be a real asset to creativity because you have to work with what you have.
Mhm.
So having to reflect on that, when I have to think of my actual own creative process, it helps me feel like I'm kind of resourceful
Mhm. Mhm.
in a way. And so
Yeah.
often as a researcher, we tend to look out. What are other people doing? I think it's really good when you have to keep bringing the lens back on yourself and see how are you doing something.
Yeah, and I like, and if I could kind of end with, it reminds me a bit of teaching. That many times when I'm teaching, uh, I feel more like a channel than sort of an individual, and maybe others in the room feel this way as well. Is sometimes I'll be, sort of taking in what the students are in a sense feeling. I can kind of read what's going on with them based on what I'm saying, and then sometimes I'll be pulling stuff from everywhere and then sort of channeling it out to the students. And sometimes I think, man, I can't believe what just came out of my mouth. Where did that come from? it doesn't feel like it came from me in a sense. So it really focuses you, I guess, to do something like this. Although I don't feel really focused in that last statement, but well, that's all we wanted to do. We wanted to spend about 5 minutes, which is what we've done. Leah, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, and we are, I guess, still here. Let's keep talking.
Yeah.